They say money makes the world go round. But what happens when a child, with no family, no safety net, no future, finds a way to bend that entire system to his will? This is not the story of Wall Street. It's the story of an orphan. A boy who had nothing, and yet, somehow, managed to play the biggest game on earth, and win. For a while. He was born in the late 1990s, in a city where skyscrapers kissed the clouds, but where the ground was full of cracks. A boy without a last name, raised in a state orphanage that smelled of bleach and broken dreams. The kind of place where children learn quickly that the world doesn't owe them anything. But he had something most others didn't, an almost frightening intelligence. Not in the way teachers recognize. He wasn't the kid with perfect grades. He was the kid who stared at broken machines and made them work again. The one who, at age 10, took apart an old computer in the orphanage basement and rebuilt it from scratch. That was his first taste of power. A world inside a screen where he wasn't nobody, where rules could be bent, where borders didn't exist. By the time he was a teenager, the internet had become his only family. He didn't play games like the others. He studied systems, payment networks, encryption methods, the strange choreography of numbers that held the world together. Most of us never think about it. Swipe a card, enter a PIN, money moves. But behind that simple gesture are thousands of fragile connections, old codes written decades ago, patched together like crumbling bridges. He saw those weaknesses, and he remembered the hunger of nights when he had nothing. At 16, he made his first move. A test. He rerouted a tiny sum, a few dollars, from an unused corporate account. It worked. He returned the money the next day, like a magician who only wanted to see if the trick could be done. But curiosity has a way of becoming hunger. And hunger, when you've been denied everything, becomes unstoppable. Within months, he was quietly siphoning millions. Not from the poor. Not from ordinary people. He targeted the largest banks in the world. Institutions so big they didn't notice when a few million went missing. At least, not at first. The brilliance wasn't just in stealing the money. It was in how he did it. He created a maze of shell companies, fake identities, offshore accounts. Each move cloaked in layers of code, like shadows inside shadows. Investigators later admitted he understood the system better than the people who built it. For a moment, he lived like a ghost king. Luxury hotels under false names. Flights across continents, always one step ahead. Yet he wasn't reckless. He gave large sums to other orphans, street kids, shelters. In his mind, he wasn't stealing. He was redistributing, taking from the richest system on earth and giving it to the forgotten. Some called him a criminal. Others would later call him a Robin Hood. But no system tolerates a ghost forever. The banks started to notice. At first it was a whisper, discrepancies in ledgers, missing funds that couldn't be explained. Then it became a roar. An international task force was formed. Cybersecurity experts, intelligence agencies, digital forensic teams, all chasing the shadow of a boy they didn't yet know existed. And here's the irony. The more he tried to disappear, the louder his legend grew. Online forums buzzed with rumors. A faceless figure who could drain accounts in seconds. A child who humiliated billion-dollar institutions. When they finally found him, it wasn't through firewalls or financial trails. It was through loneliness. In a small cafe in Prague, he logged onto an unsecured Wi-Fi network. Not to steal, not to move money, but to talk. To connect with someone. Investigators traced the signal, stormed the cafe, and arrested him before he even looked up from the screen. He was 17, an orphan, and yet he had outsmarted the global banking system for nearly 2 years. The trial became a spectacle. Banks painted him as a dangerous criminal who threatened global stability. Journalists called him a genius, a prodigy, a symbol of broken trust in financial institutions. And quietly, many ordinary people admired him. Because beneath the layers of crime and code, there was something deeply human in what he did. A child, denied everything, striking back at the system that never cared if he lived or died. He served his sentence in silence. No interviews, no memoir. Just a boy, now a man, watching from behind bars as the world debated his existence. And when he was released, he vanished again. No one knows where he is today. Some believe he works as a security consultant for governments. Others think he disappeared into the underworld of digital finance, still moving money in the shadows. But the truth is, maybe he just wanted to live, to finally be more than a ghost. So what does his story tell us? That the systems we think are unbreakable are built on fragile foundations. That a child with nothing can see what billions of dollars worth of experts cannot. That desperation and genius are a dangerous combination. And maybe, most of all, that every number in the global banking system, every transaction, every silent digit pulsing through the wires, carries with it a reminder. There's always someone on the outside looking in. Someone who refuses to accept the world as it is. And sometimes that someone is just a boy. This was the story of the orphan who outsmarted the global banking system. And it leaves us with a haunting question. If one forgotten child could bend the rules of global finance, what else might be possible?